Hey guys, welcome back to Networkers Home YouTube channel. And today in this video, we are going to see how to install a Linux operating system. And in this particular video, we'll be seeing that how to install CentOS Linux. Okay. So we'll be installing the CentOS Linux in an open source virtualization software that is your VirtualBox. Okay. There are certain different virtualization softwares are available, like your Hyper-V is already inbuilt in your Windows, and you have KVM that is there for the Linux. And also we have one option that is your VMware, that is the third party, but your VMware is a paid version. Okay, your VMware is a paid software. So for our purpose, we'll be using the VirtualBox, that is a free virtualization software and it is open source. Okay, so let's open VMware. I mean VirtualBox. Okay, so in the VirtualBox, this is the interface you are going to get by default. Okay, these virtual machines I have already created, so you will not be having these virtual machines. So right now I'll be telling you by creating a new virtual machine, and I'll tell you how to set up a Linux operating system and how to install a Linux operating system in the VirtualBox. So the first thing you have to do, we just have to go and click on the new button. Once we click on the new, first of all, we have to give the name of the operating system. So let's say we are going to install here CentOS Linux. So I'll say CentOS Linux. Then if you have the ISO image, you can directly select the ISO image here, but I will not recommend this thing here. Okay, then in the type, it is automatically selected Linux, and the version also, it has been selected Red Hat 64. So we don't need to change anything here, and we'll just click on next. Once we click on next, here we get the option to assign the RAM. So by default, it is taking 2 GB of RAM. So you can increase or decrease the amount of RAM. So let's say for right now, I'll assign it 8 GB. So 8192 means you can assign it with 2 GB, 4 GB. Okay, that is up to you. Then number of processors, that how many cores you want to assign for this particular operating system. So either you can assign 2 or maximum I can assign 4. So let me go in with the 2 only. Then hard disk. So for the Linux installation, 20 GB is more than sufficient. Okay, so you get 3 options, whether you want to create a new hard disk. If you already have a virtual hard disk created, so you can use that particular disk. And if you do not want to add a virtual hard disk, in that case, you can click on the third option, that is do not add a virtual hard disk. Okay, so right now I need to create a new virtual disk because I don't have any pre-configured virtual hard disk. So I'll just go and configure it, let's say 40 GB. 20 GB also more than sufficient for the installation, but we actually do not require more than 20 GB. But just for the sake, I'm giving it 40 GB. Then click on next and click on finish. This is all the configuration we have done so far. Now I'm going to click on finish. So once we click on finish, there are some configurations we can change. So I'll go to the settings. In the settings, first of all, if you go to the network, so in the network, you see the network adapter has been enabled and it is attached to NAT, network address translation. Okay, so by default, it will be NAT. You can go and choose bridge adapter. So what is a bridge adapter? Bridge adapter means it will take connection directly from your physical network adapter. Okay, this is internal network, means it is going to create a separate network. Host only adapter means it is going to create a network between your host system and your guest system. Okay, then we have a NAT network. Okay, similarly, we have different types. So mainly we'll be using either bridge adapter or host only or NAT network or NAT. Okay, so you can leave it default or you can change it according to your requirement. Okay, so for example, let's say I'll go with a bridge adapter. Okay, and this will take connection from my wireless Wi-Fi card. Okay, so it is giving 2 options, that either I can use my Wi-Fi network connection or I can use my LAN Ethernet connection. So right now I'm connected here over Wi-Fi. So I will choose for Wi-Fi. Then click on OK. Now, if we see in the storage option, so we need to attach the ISO image, right? For the installation, we need to attach the ISO image. So in the optical drive, I'll click and I'll say choose or create a disk image. Then I'll click on add. Now I will select my ISO image wherever I have downloaded the ISO image. that ISO image I will select. So that is CH lab image, and I have here CentOS ISO image. Click on open and choose. So if you do not know how to download the CentOS Linux image, so let me tell you, simply go to any web browser and say, for example, CentOS Linux download. Okay, and the first link will come from the centos.org. If you click on there is CentOS Linux. Okay, so this is the version 7, CentOS Linux 7. If you want to go for version 8 or 9, it will come under CentOS stream. Okay, version 8, version 9. The latest is the 9. Now, right now I'm going to download 7 only. So you can go to the 7 and you can say cross 8664 according to your architecture. Okay, so let's say I'll say cross 8664. And then you will get all the links to download. These are basically the direct download links. So if you click on any of these links, let's say I click on the first link, so I will get the repository. And in this repository, I will have the download images. So if I click on this, it is going to start downloading here. Okay. So I have already downloaded, so I'm not going to download it again. So I'll just cancel it. Then we have already selected the ISO image, right? Now what we are going to do, we are going to start the virtual machine. So as soon as you start the virtual machine, it is going to start up. So once we start with the installation, we are going to get these two options. So first option is the install CentOS 7, and second option is test this media and install CentOS 7. Okay, so first option is going to start the direct installation. Second option is going to test your ISO image first, means whatever bootable media you have attached to your system, it is going to check that particular media and then it is going to start the installation. And the third option is for troubleshooting, means if you want to troubleshoot your existing system. So right now, I just directly want to go with the installation. So I'll say install CentOS Linux 7 or CentOS 7. Hit enter. And now this will open the installer. So let's wait for the installer to start. Okay, so now we have the installer screen. So first of all, we are going to select the language. So by default, the language selected is English. And you can choose the language again. So right now we are in India, so we'll select English India and then click on continue. So as soon as you click on English India, your date and time, your keyboard method, all these things will be selected automatically. So you see according to date and time, that time zone has been selected. Okay, language support, English India has been selected, and your keyboard will also be selected as English India only. Okay, English India with rupee. Now, in the software part, we see two things. One is the local media and second is the minimal install. Okay. So this installation source, we do not need to change. Why? Because we are installing through the local media only, means either your pen drive, CD, DVD, or ISO image. So this thing, it is automatically going to detect. So do not need to change this thing. We have to change what? Your software selection. So in the software selection part, right now by default, it is saying minimal install. Minimal install is what? Like you'll just get no graphical environment, means zero graphical environment, only complete CLI environment you're going to get. Means simply you can say like a black screen with some white text and you have to execute the commits. So we want graphical also. So if you click on the this install, minimal install or the software selection, now you see there are base environment already available. Okay, in the base environment for different purposes of installation of Linux, different environments have been created. Means if you want basic functionality, you can go with the minimal install. Okay, if you want server for operating network infrastructure service, then you can use the infrastructure services or infrastructure server. If you want file print and storage server, then you can install this particular environment. Means accordingly, you can install according to a requirement. If you want simple Genome desktop, then you can go with the Genome desktop. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to create or we want to use a graphical operating system where we can configure servers also, and where we can install packages and do everything we want. Okay, so according to enterprise infrastructure services, we'll select server with GUI. Okay, as soon as I click on server with GUI, you see on the right hand side there are already add-ons for selected environment. Means I have selected server with GUI, right? So now if I want to install any of these servers, I can just click mark them, or I can simply click them and they will get installed with the installation only. But we want to learn how to install these servers also using the CLI. So what we are going to do, we are going to not check any of these and we'll directly click on done. So this is going to give you what? A server environment with GUI. Means it is going to give you the features of the server where we can install the server packages or server of softwares, and then we can use the particular services of the server. Okay. Then in the installation destination, it is saying automatic partitioning selected. Okay. So what is automatic partitioning means? It is automatically going to do the partitions of your hard disk, because the operating system is going to be installed in your hard disk. So we have 40 GBs of hard disk. By default, this hard disk is selected, and you can, by default, it is selected here, automatically configure partitioning. Means partitions will be created automatically. But if you want to learn how to do the partitioning and what are the partition we require for Linux installation, so you have to select I will configure partitioning. So you will choose this option in case you want dual boot, or if you want to configure the partition size manually. Okay, so click on the I will configure partitioning manually and then click on done. Now in the done, here you see the available space and this is the total space. If you want to add a partition, you have to click on plus. If you want to remove a partition, then minus. And if you want to reload the hard disk configuration, then you have to select this reload button. So first of all, I'll click on plus, and let's say I want to add one partition. So now, first of all, let's discuss what are the partitions that are required for Linux installation. Okay. So let me open Notepad here. Okay. So we are talking about partitions required for Linux. Okay. So for installation of Linux, basically we are going to require 3 partitions. Only you require 2, but I'm suggesting 3. One is the /boot, second is the /, and third is the swap. Okay. These are the 3 partitions we are going to require. So this /boot, this partition is going to store all the bootloader files. It stores the booting files that are required for the Linux system to boot. Okay. So your /boot partition, it is a small partition, does not require very high size. So size of this partition, you can go with the 500 MB. Okay, 500 MB is more than good for the /boot partition. Then we have the swap partition. So this swap partition, this is optional. Whether you want to create, you can create. If you don't want to create, it's up to you, totally up to you. Okay, but I always suggest the swap partition. Why? Because your swap partition, it is the space of your hard disk, space of your hard disk that your Linux system, that the Linux system is going to use in case physical memory is not available. Okay, so for example, let's say you have given 4 GBs of RAM or 2 GBs of RAM to your CentOS Linux. Okay, and that 2 GB is completely being used. Okay, in any of the process. So your system also needs some memory to process its own processes, right? To process its own files or tasks. So that particular memory will be provided by your swap memory. Means your system will use your hard disk as a RAM. Okay, so this space varies how much space you want to give. For right now, I'll give this space as 2 GBs. Okay, but you can go with 1 GB, 500 MB, or 4 GBs, up to you. This is totally optional, up to you whether you want to create swap partition or not. Okay, mandatory partition only two are there, that is /boot and the slash. Okay, your slash, it is the root of Linux system. Okay, means everything, all your files, directories, devices, everything will be stored in the slash. Okay, so these are the partitions that are required for the Linux installation, and you can say it is the largest partition. Okay, it is the largest partition. So these are the partition we are going to require. So now let's go and create these partitions. So if I go and create, first of all, I'll select /boot, and /boot desired capacity is 500 MB, more than good, and click on add mount point. Add it, we see /boot and 500 MB. Then 2 GB of space I will give for the swap partition. So I'll select swap and I'll give it 2 GBs. So 2Z. Then again say add mount point. Then remaining entire space, this all space I want to give to the slash. So I'll click here, then slash, and I will not give any space. So it will take the entire free space. And I'll say add mount point. So remaining full space has been taken by your slash. Now what I'll do, I'll click on done. So this will tell me that this is the summary of all the changes you have done. So if you think the changes are good, then you can just say accept changes. And if you feel like, okay, this is not good, if you want to change the partition spaces and anything, then you can just go click here to cancel and return to custom partitioning. So I will say accept changes. Then now anything else we do not need to change. Okay, kdump is by default enabled. So what is kdump? Kdump is a kernel dump mechanism. Okay, means in case of system crash, your Linux system is going to reserve the information regarding the crash, that why did your system crash. Okay, and that particular information will be usable or will be useful in determining that why your system crashed. Your network admin can look that particular information and check that what was the reason for your crash. So for the kdump, it is going to use the space of your RAM, your physical RAM. Okay, it is going to reserve some space from your RAM and it is going to use it for kdump mechanism. Okay, and by default, it will use around 160 MBs. Then network and hostname, by default, it is not connected. If you want to connect network and hostname, simply you can just connect here. You click on here and your network will automatically get connected. Okay. Or else what you can do, you can change the domain name here. So let's say I will change the domain name to NH, networkers home. Okay, I'll say on apply and you see current host name now is NH. Then click on done. Security policy. So if you want to apply some restrictions on your Linux system, then you can go and choose some security policies. Okay, right now we are not going to apply any security policies because we want the full access of the system. Okay, full control of the system. So we do not require any sort of security policies right now. So this is all the things we have to configure. Once we are done with this, we can go and start with the installation. Okay, but if you see here, it is saying we won't touch your hard disk until you click begin installation. Means all the partitions we have done and all these things. So your hard disk doesn't have any changes. All these changes what we have done are still in the RAM only. Okay, so if you are sure of the changes, okay, if you're ready for the installation, you can just go and click on begin installation. Or if you want to change the partitions, you can cancel the installation and change any of these things. So far, your hard disk doesn't have any effect. Okay, even if the old data was there, so the old data is also still it is present. But as soon as you click on begin installation, your hard disk will be formatted, all the partitions will be created, and then all these files or whatever changes we have done, they will be installed. So click on begin installation. And now here in the user settings, we see two things. One is the root password and one is the user creation. Okay, and below here you can see the progress that it is creating different partitions, and now it will start the package installation. So first of all, I'll set the root password. So root is the administrator user. So this is basically your administrator password. So click here, give the password. So I'll simply give the password CentOS only. Okay, so it is saying if the password you have provided is weak, the password contain the username in some form, you will have to press done twice to confirm it. So my password is easy right now. So according to Linux system, this is not secure. This is weak password. Okay, so if I want to confirm it, I will have to press done twice. So I'll press 1, 2. Then user creation. So right now, no user will be created. If you want to create a user, then we will just go and create a normal or local user also, standard user also. So let's say the username, I'll give NH. So username already there. I want to make this user administrator. So I'll check on this box, and also the password I'll give is CentOS only. And then again, this password is weak. So I will have to press the done twice. So once and twice. And now the package installation process is going to start. So this package installation process, it is going to take up some time. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll just pause this video for a while. Okay, so you see the package installation has started. So these 1348 packages, they will be installed and it is going to take some time. Okay, so the video will get longer if I continue this process. So I will wait and I will pause the recording for a while. And once the installation is done, I'll start the recording back and we'll start with the procedure. Okay. Okay, so as we see here, the installation has been completed, and now the CentOS system is saying that the CentOS is now successfully installed and ready for you to use. Go ahead and reboot to start using it. Okay, so all we have to do is just to reboot the system. So we'll just go and click on the reboot. Okay, and this is going to restart the system. And before that, let me remove the DVD so the installation process does not start again. Okay, see here, it has started it again. So I'll just go and remove this CentOS DVD and I'll just go to input, keyboard, and Alt Control Delete to restart. So we will get these two options. The first option is to start the Linux system and second system is to rescue. So right now we just want to start the Linux system. So I'll use the first option and say CentOS Linux, hit enter. So this is going to start the Linux operating system. Okay. So from here, we'll just get the login screen and we'll see the user NH. Okay, and we'll be able to log in. So from here, first of all, we will accept the license. So go to the license agreement and I accept the license agreement, click on done and click on finish configuration. Now this will start your Linux system once again. Okay. So here we have the login screen. And now I can click on the user and give in the password. So password was CentOS and I can say sign in. And this is our installation process. So we have successfully installed the Linux operating system. So this is the screen, and now we can just open the terminal from here and we can start executing the command. But that part we'll see in some other video. For this video, this is all the part. We just wanted to see the installation process, and the installation process is now complete. Okay, so I hope this video was informative, and if you find this video informative, so please do like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye guys.